Hey everybody, today we are talking about overhead. I had a question come in on YouTube that I want to read for you really quickly, and then I want to digest this and go over this. It says, should you split your overhead per crew? Like if your total yearly overhead came out to $20 per hour, should you add $10 per hour or per man or 20? It's a good question. There's two crews, $20 in overhead. Do we split it across the two of them? And so what I would say here is overhead, the hourly amount, if this is figured out the way I have figured it out in our calculator, is it is figured out based on how many people are in the company and how many billable hours there are. And that's what's saying, okay, this is how many billable hours divided into this overhead there is. So this is how much it costs an hour. And so that full amount gets added to each hour. So in our situation, if there's $20 in overhead an hour, it gets added to every crew for every person. Right? So if there's two people on each crew and they're all, their break even was $50 an hour, and then their overhead was $20 an hour, then go 50, 60, 70. And then we would build in a margin of what we're trying to have the goal of what kind of profits we're going to have in the company. And that would be the end number. So break even, covering overhead, adding margin. That gets added to every single person throughout the company. Now, don't misconstrue this. You may have done the numbers slightly different where it needs to be split between the crew. But basically, this gets spread amongst everybody, and it is based on how many billable hours there are in the year. When I total up the X amount of overhead, right? Say that that's a $10,000 in overhead. That's divided out against those billable hours to show how many dollars per hour of overhead we actually have. Then that's going to allow us to know our metrics, right? Bake in our overhead over here into our cost, then bake in all our other cost of goods sold into our cost, and then add all that together and then get our final number with our margin. So we have a cost that we're going to charge. I hope that makes sense. In this situation, the way I'm reading this, should you split overhead per crew? Like if your total yearly overhead came out to be $20 per hour, should you add $10 a man hour or 20? I think that the way this person did this, it should be $20 a man hour, because it sounds like he's got it spread out and he's assuming billable hours, and that's how he came up with that $20. And if you spread that out and figure that amongst everyone included in that, then by all the billable hours produced or potentially able to produce by those teams. Because this is all hypothetical. That's the thing I hate most about numbers is, as much as they are exact and numbers don't lie, this is assuming you can sell the amount of work, assuming you can stay that busy, assuming you can produce that many billable hours, and assuming you do it and hit your numbers. Right? That's why you should always round to the good and bake in extra, because you might not hit your numbers. You might fall short. There may be issues which make it more and more opportunity to be less and less profitable. And that's really the stress amongst all businesses, the fight to maintain profits, to have money. You can be murdering it and then turn around and be like, I'm broke. And then you got to recreate the wheel and then come at it again. Or you can not catch these things on the way. So great question. That's how you do it. Make sure you add it to every single person if it was assumed and divided out based on the total billable hours for the year. Hope that helps. Talk to you guys soon.